All right. Looks like my cam is a little messed up. I don't think I really fixed it at all. I think my head is still kind of chopped off, but that's all right. All right. I think we are live. Let's go ahead and get YouTube involved too. Looks like YouTube is good. All right. It's probably going to be a short stream this time around. We're just chasing upgrades like we did yesterday. So nothing nothing new. I am wearing some of the upgrades that I did get yesterday, so definitely feel the power bump there for sure. And let's slide this over a little bit. There we go. All right, and we're at it. I think I spent most of my boss keys now, so I think we probably need to farm for some supreme keys, I guess.
Excellent work.
Also made my loot filter a little more strict now, where it's only dropping only 2 GA legendaries now. Help with the inventory management a bit better. Keeps on I have seasonal rewards. The season rank rewards are available. And I checked and I don't see anything. Like I don't know if it's like way back here or something, or turn to craft flawless gem. And there's a max attunement there, I guess. I probably should like finish off these little things. I guess like forget about it. Hmm.
Keep your treasures close.
Guess that's all I had to do for that one, huh?
Here's what remains.
Oh, and I found that gives me my last little smoldering ashes, really. Games hard to chase good upgrades when they're locked behind a crafted tag. 20 favorite games created but banned this season is just not it. So I absolutely agree. I don't think the idea of a crafted tag per se is. Well, if we should just be a tag, it should just be a different color, honestly. But I do think that like the mythics and iconic mythics shouldn't be in the same pool for crafted. Like you should be able to craft both because they're different. Mythic is now a tier of item, right? And iconic mythics is just a different item altogether. So considering how hard it is right now to be able to get iconic mythics, we should be able to craft them and it not count as our crafted mythic. Which is what I assumed, which is what a lot of people assumed that would be the case. Like that's what it seemed like it was. That's what it reads to be. And yeah, it was not. And then there's a post now about how iconic mythics are still not dropping like they should. So it's just rough, right? Like it's been 2 weeks. Then you got the 2-week patch. And half of the point of the patch is still not working. And it's just like I don't know, man. Like you're people already kind of like started like getting into the coffin, and now you just nail the coffin shut now for a lot of players. I'm still kind of chasing. My drive right now is just to kind of collect it, to continue to collect things, because I want to make sure that some theorycraft I'm doing actually works, and I kind of need the items for that to work out, so I know how to prepare for next season and stuff like that. If it really wasn't for that, like I might as well just been done myself, to be honest. So I have more of a drive to continue to play for a little bit longer, but I can understand most people just want to just stop, like just upright, just quit. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna play either way because it's a great game. So craft attack is not good. I have a lot to do as well on my end, so it's kind of like I need to get to that, but I also want to get to the things I want to do too at the same time. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, the base game is still fun. Oh, you're playing Flurry. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Oh no, you got everything you need for your Flurry build, but you're playing Pen Shot. I like seeing that stuff, honestly. I like seeing people being fans of builds versus like fans of what's meta at the time. Nothing wrong with people wanting to do meta and stuff. Not totally not hating or that kind of thing. But like I personally like it whenever I see people play the skill for the love of it, regardless of where it ends up on the tier list. I had a whole like conversation on stream like a couple of days ago about that very thing. Some places fun for sure. Definitely hit a wall. Oh, well, I mean everything. Technically speaking, when you think about it, every build skill or whatever like that you play is going to eventually hit a wall. It's just that wall is just a different number. It's just a different pit number or a different tower number. But the wall is the exact same. Like the wall feeling is the same. Like the wall doesn't feel any better or worse on any other build. Like physically, I put it that way. Like like tangibly, Granted, obviously, from a gameplay perspective, if your wall is 130 versus 140, people would prefer the wall to be 140, right? Simply because number higher means better, because more, that kind of thing. But tangibly, it feels the exact same. B, what's going on? What's happening, sir? I need to get more ruptures. I'm using the wrong amulet, actually, but oh well. Can't figure out to come infested with your barrage build. It's just not good enough for it. Are you using? Did you make your own setup, or are you following a guide? Keep running out of energy. Guy for that one. Okay. Have you tried using the boss setup, like the bossing setup for it? Now keep in mind, Barrage in general is going to naturally have weaker single target because it is a AoE beast. Like it hits so many mobs at once and does so very quickly. So its AoE, so its single target is definitely going to be a bit harder to deal with on bosses than, like, let's say rapid fire or most other rogue skills outside of flurry. But yeah, the bossing setup does help. I just need to let this close. Mythic seal, okay. Golden Epiphany. Oh, I can check my amulet from here. Okay, cool. Sweet.
This was easy money. Making my way across the delta was a little bit tricky, but I've had tougher. Now I just need to find this first pool, collect a flask full, and get back to the witch to grab my coin. Easy gold.
This build you're running, do you need to hit Heartseeker every 4 seconds? What up, Zeal? It's a little more involving than that. Because tapping Heartseeker is like where it's how you get a lot of damage out of the build. Because you're forcing more arrows from the breakpoints of like the 5-piece auto basics to happen more often. Very much how like God6 played in D3 for Demon Hunter. So typically speaking, you can just tap it once, like as you see something, but then when you fight something more involving, you have to kind of tap it like twice a second to really get all those arrows out. So but it's not really difficult to do, like, like compared to like, I don't know, playing Call of Duty or something, or Grand Theft Auto, or something that's more involving. This is still really really easy. Right, but yeah, you want to tap Heartseeker to kind of force more arrows, which is the primary mechanic for the build. Best ways to get superior layer keys. Kind of doing it right now. Ruptures, basically. Ruptures and doing the greater layer bosses are both really good for that. I guess I already did one already, so it's probably not going to be do another. You can do it from like you can get it from the realm walker as well. It's also a good place to do it, but of course the realm walker is timed. Our Heartseeker build is going heaps good now. Now I can see you this. He might make a swap. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But just like any cold build, there is some investment. Oftentimes in like some socials that I end up like, posting in or like taking a look at. I'm saying oftentimes, but sometimes I'll get, hey, this build can't do bosses or whatnot, or you can't boss in T12 with it. And I'm like, really? Like, are you sure? And I have to kind of like, showcase. A lot of times it's like not understanding the mechanic of having to like push Heartseeker, more often than bosses. But then there's also like the not going with the bossing build like suggested, right? Which is basically just one amulet swap and those kind of things. But it's not like poison where like you could take a day one poison build and like do bosses relatively okay ish. You have a mythic Azarath with crit and cold G haste, so you need to use it. That is like, that's so good. You wouldn't use it on like, well, I guess honestly for farming you really wouldn't be using it anyhow. Like that's like definitely like a tower thing, tower or high pit tier thing. I'm used to Heartseeker being a pew pew build. It's cool to see it evolve. Yeah. I only got 6 out of that time. Heartseeker is just an overall fun build. Good times. Oh, is that always a good time? Yeah. I no matter what season it is, I always try to upkeep the Heartseeker gameplay, whether it's meta or not. Because so many people actually, like the build for what it is. Ever since I got some more upgrades, I'm actually starting to running into some energy issues. The stuff isn't living long enough for me to like get the energy back. So I'm not getting like ricochets to happen or whatnot. So it's like causing energy issues, which is actually kind of funny. Chest over here. Wanted to like Warlock so bad, but it gets feels clunky to you. Did you open the buff Dreadclaws for next season? Dreadclaws looks really cool. I see like some people like do that. I've seen like Fame do it just for fun. That's like really cool looking. Warlock drip is just cool. Zil says, I've been doing walk all day, 0 fragments. Also Nightmare Dungeon with the rupture tag, nothing. I mean like nothing for like the superior keys? They're not for fragments, they're for the keys. At least that was my understanding. And then the keys when you kill the boss, like in Harazar, when you have to go fight her in Harazar, then you get the fragments from her once you kill her. So you probably have a lot of keys. You just gotta go kill her now. Okay, Lair boss key. Superior. Like I've been on this floor for a while because I'm like scoping out all the chests. Wait, why can't I pick up this? Wait, what? Like, I'm not capped. That's strange. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm like that. I'm not capped. It just, I think it like fell through the ground or something, and I can't pick it up. See, I picked up the topazes just now from that. So I don't know what's up. Counterfeit topaz. I mean, probably. Sapphire. Diamond. Material reserve. I think we'll go with the sapphire. Yeah, the aesthetic is right up your alley. Yeah, I wonder. Like, I'm really curious about next season with the whole BlizzCon thing being what it is, and how seemingly forgetful it feels like this season is to Blizzard. I still find it mind-boggling that like you release a whole different, way of or tier of items or item strength or whatever, revamp it, call it mythics, have a ton of problems with how it's all going down, and no team or such to be able to like make fixes to said thing. I mean, obviously they had to know things. There's some things are gonna go wrong. But the idea that they're just kind of just gonna just let it be, it's like feels so awful. Let's not go through the portal. I personally still enjoyed the game. I mean, I do too. I do too. I guess my gripes is more so of like, you know, you had such a decent expansion launch, right? And there's a lot of things that were bugged in the expansion launch. It's just tough to continue on with that excitement about how how the game is turning out when you have a season like this with the problems that they are. I guess wish the focus is, not necessarily every season has to be like banger, right? But at least focus on, at least have some sort of focus of being able to maintain a season to be like decent. If there's some major problems with it, don't just abandon the entire season. I feel like that's kind of what Blizzard does. Because for them, it's more important for them to work on the next project instead. I feel at this point they throw him at a wall and see what sticks and rear a mud the wall, and then see what sticks and rear the mud. Yeah. I don't know, man. If management or whoever is in charge would just let the devs just fix all the bugs in the game. Like, just all the bugs. Just like, or as many bugs as possible. Like, just take the time. Screw trying to make a fancy season or whatever. Just bug fix for a season. Like, there's so many things that don't work properly that if we could just get one full season of bug fixes, the game would feel different by default already, like massively different. I wish they kept the trap boss from season 3. Trap boss were definitely not popular amongst the player base. They also had a really rough launch. Like, season 3 was a really rough launch. They definitely made it feel better, like in the season, one of the rare W's. But the initial launch of the traps, the trapped vault dungeon type stuff, was definitely not well received overall. It seemed. I was kind of indifferent. It didn't bother me. I wasn't upset about it or anything. I just didn't care. I do think the hub was actually kind of cool though. Oh, the boss fight. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, the boss fight was cool. Boss fight was cool. You're right. You can appreciate the follow. My YouTube chat is working. My YouTube chat is not working. That's what's happening. I'm sorry, YouTube. Give me a second. Jim Strift needed this season. No, not really. Not really. Show us Paragon with chips used. Oh, there's no reason to use chip. At the chip glyph. But the Paragon is exactly what's on the planner. How many crafted mythics can we equip on the character? Just one. Yeah, sorry YouTube. Like my chat didn't like for some reason it's not connecting to my main chat, so it was kind of hard to see you guys over there. There's a macro guy. You mentioned God is the best way to play Heartseeker. It's also the best way to play Dance of Knives. No, because Dance of Knives is like for Dance of Knives itself is what's dealing the damage, and this here, Dance of Knives is dealing no damage. So we don't really care about the Dance of Knives damage here on this particular setup. Breakers of Keys. It's all mostly really the same thing. All right, let me see why my YouTube chat's not connecting real quick. You have a written guide for this? Yeah. Exclamation mark. Build. Let me reconnect my chat. YouTube. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I just want to spin the win. Which would you recommend? So when you mean just spin the win, you mean like just holding down right click without having to cast Heartseeker or cast another button? You just want to just hold down right click and stuff dies? Is that what you mean? All right, there we go. All right, now the YouTube chat is showing up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, if you just want to spin the win, like just spin, and that's it. I would definitely do Dance of Knives, like the Dance of Knives guide. You like reading things? Oh, you are a rarity, sir. Do you know like on the socials? Do you know like how much time I'd save? Or how many less questions there would be if people actually like read the guide that they have questions about. Some people, I feel like some people just make or ask questions in the socials because they want to be social, like they just want to talk to people, and that's different, right? But there's some that are literally just like get upset or frustrated with the guide, but not actually read the guide, and then you get frustrated as a guide writer. Because literally everything that they're saying or they're having issues with is literally inside the guide. And you tell them to follow the guide, and it's like I am following the guide, but like it doesn't work. You know, I can't do the thing. And I'm like, do you have most of the stats or the majority of the stats? And they swear like, okay, yeah, I have all the stats, everything. And then they get mad at you because it's like there's no way this build is doing T12 or bossing, even though they're literally watching you do T12 and bossing. It's like, right? So it just like it can get like, but yeah, if people actually did do like the reading and stuff, like there'll be a lot less social interaction in the discords and whatnot. But like, and of course you're trying to be nice. Like I try to be nice. Like I don't always want to say it's in the guide. So I actually do go answer the question. Whereas like they'll say something that's like, oh, it's such and such. I'm like, it's in the guide. It's what I want to say. But I think after saying it 4 or 5 times, you know, people kind of get a little annoyed. And stop telling me it's in the guide. I'm like, but it is. It's in the planner, I promise you. Which build is best overall? Well, Rain of Arrows is considered the meta build this season, so it is our strongest build, like power wise. But depending on the content you're trying to do, like the absolute best build might change, because at that point it's not necessarily about power as much as it is about overall speed and ease to gear, those kind of things, right? And at that point there's several different builds you can kind of put into that category. But if pushing is like extremely important to you, then or like really important to you, then of course Rain of Arrows is where you want to be, pretty much. Like that is like the choice at that point. What I want to do now? How long has this been up? I can't find a timer on this. Is there a timer on this though? Oh, let me know. 53 minutes. Okay. We got 3 minutes before a realm walker. I guess I'll do a realm walker as well. My friends follow me actually ask me questions about why something isn't working. You have to read the guide for them. That you get it, kind of. I think the thing is that like that's purposely why we do the guides, right? Is to, help people get through the stuff. But it can be a little disingenuous sometimes if we have to, read it word for word. Now, if it's like, some interaction that you don't understand that the guy doesn't explain, that's one thing. But like I will say for like Rain of Arrows and DT, like, there are some like breakpoints that can be quite difficult to understand why we do what we do on those if it's not explained well. Right, like those are hard. But I'll say this one last thing, and then I'll get off a bit. But I had someone in the chat that was asking me about like the Shaco helm for this build. I said Shaco is like the last thing you want in terms of a mythic chasing, because it doesn't really offer you like much of a damage difference. It's more for quality of life. And I told him, I said, just use a regular helm with retribution. That's it. And like he starts putting down other helms. He's like, oh, what about Kyler Nameless? Is multiplier good? I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, well, cool. What about God Slayers? I'm like, what did I literally just say above? What's in the guide? None of what you mentioned is anywhere in the guide, nor anything of what I said to you. Like, none of those do anything for you. If it did, there will be mentions. But what about Andy's? I was like, get ready to say that. That's what I noticed in the guide. There's stuff that tell you to do X, Y, Z, but I'm like, why? And then you do it, and then you find out, oh, it's a project skill, and it gives you some resource, resolve stack or something. Yeah, it's easier for you with the background of teaching. But a lot of these guys do guide very well. I guess it's more so of a thing where it's where am I trying to go, actually? I'll snap my That thing is draining. No. Find stuff. Kill things. Like I said, not all questions are bad, obviously. For sure, not all questions are bad, but a lot of questions that get asked can be found in the planner or guide. I love watching like Matti's response because Matti's like such a nice guy, and you can even see him get like fed up a little bit where he's like, it's in the planner. Is that what if I do it if I get X? Is like it's in the planner. And I'm like, if Matias gets, you know, is getting a little stressed out by it, you know, you can understand how like others do. Guys are dope. I wish that they'd say how much CDR you need versus get to 16 seconds. I think that's the only thing that would really help. So in my Rain of Arrows guy, I do mention an actual number, 63%. And when I did that, people had issues with it. So I actually removed it today. This is like, it's 62.8% okay? And I'm like, no. It has to be 63%. Well, why? Because that's just how it works. So I feel like sometimes the less information I give on certain things to make it less complicated, the better. So I'm just like, just get it to 15 seconds. So don't worry about the actual percentage of CDR. I was trying to help. I really was. That's why you like crit build, gets a 100% chance. And then get crit damage done. Pretty much. Mix in, you know, some vulnerable. Or mix in, you know, vulnerable where you can. And bam, you got a build. So you're glad you stopped here? 63% helps a lot. Yeah. The biggest thing is really... The thing is that you're going to have to get GA on almost every GA cooldown on almost every item that has cooldown on it, basically. With the exception of maybe like one piece can be non-GA. But ideally, it's going to have to be either GA cooldown, either masterworked, or both to reach that threshold. For the end game version. Obviously, if you do tower push, it gets a little bit more complicated because then you start min-maxing a bit. But Matias did bait me. He said on stream, World of was probably best in the slot. The Poison Rain of Arrows because the multi works with it. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't pan out that way because apparently the multiplier was only working on, like was doing a third of the damage as opposed to. We don't know if that was like a bug or not, but yeah. I mean, he had the right idea. Just, you know, you never know with how Blizzard codes their stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, I know it's for poison. I mean, technically speaking, it like for in game, technically, like if it worked well, right Word of Hakan is actually not a bad amulet. Isn't getting GA cooldown a fix just insane RNG? Like you can't make it GA. No, you can't. You can't make it GA. But it's really the thing is that it's really not as hard as it seems on the surface. I know I know it's like very daunting initially, like in terms of trying to get all the breakpoints and stuff. But all it really is you play a different build, and then you start saving up items that have like one stat on there, right? So like you know how like you pick up stuff or whatever, right? And it has like one GA, like a blue, which is one GA, and it's like GA cooldown. And it's like, okay, cool, save that item. Because at that point, then you can build the rest of the item, and then you have that item for Rain of Arrows. Same thing with rings, like you know, GA cooldown ring. You know, you will eventually see it, and when you do, hold on to it and then build from there. Same thing with gloves and helm, like you will, and then chest with energy, max energy, like you know those kind of things. Like you will get those single GA affixes more often than you think you will. It gives that a lot of times people gloss over it because it's only one stat. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's 10% cooldown, but it's only one stat. And then they kind of throw it away. Or they salvage it. When in reality, you should build upon that. For like a starter, you know, set for, you know, those kind of things. Gambling for, oh, but yeah, same thing too. So like doing those things are good. But yeah, the hardest part is just understanding that you can do these things. It's like knowing that you have the tools to be able to make these things happen, to be able to do what you want to do, right? Not all these tools are like, you know, they're not easy to understand at first. Could have been superior layer keys on Bilal or new boss. No, new boss for sure. Kind of funny Blizzard took the same approach to both WoW and Diablo, where you can get a lot of information out of the game, and then WoW you have to use add-ons to get that information back. I wonder if they were attempting to like declutter. There are people that are afraid of the cube and think that that's metagaming. Yeah, I mean the cube is like your best friend in this game. It really is. Especially early on, like early on, like you can create anything. You need like if you need anything, you can like create, you know, a basic version of anything out of the cube, super easy. But navigating the cube can be challenging initially. He was your friend, but not my friend. Novum was going on when they added crafting. It made the game so much better. Yeah, it did. Where am I going? Vanquish was going on. Doc says back. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, man. Be fair, the cube can be pretty daunting for a casual player. Oh yeah, for sure. Like absolutely. I definitely do not deny that. I play a lot, and there were things that I didn't learn or understand until this season versus last season. I'm like, oh, I can do that. Like, damn, I wish I would have known about that last season. um, yeah. And it's like stuff that, like, when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. I don't know why I didn't like put the two and two together. Like, I didn't do a lot of focus rerolls. Like, I would just remove like an affix with one of the materials, and then like add it with the different material instead of just doing a focus reroll. So like using double the amount of materials that I needed and taking double the amount of time. Because I, for some strange reason, didn't put the two and two together, that I can just do a focus reroll. Yeah, I did it right this season, but last season I did not. I wasted so much materials doing it the way that I was doing it. I also messed up a really good amulet in the process that I never found another one of again. Also didn't know that I could focus reroll legendaries. I wonder if that's like new to the season, or I just did not know before. Yeah. I learned about that last week. So I was a whole week like late on that. I threw away some legendaries I could have kept had I just realized that I could focus reroll legendary. I mean, I'm sure it was probably in the patch notes. I probably like glazed over it and forgot. So yeah, I totally agree that the cube can be daunting at first. But you got to interact with it, man. You got to learn what it do. Be his best friend. Any tips on getting the cube material for rerolling affixes? Well, honestly, they kind of just drop from anywhere. I would I guess the best place to try to like target farm them, I guess. I mean, Helltide is actually really good for that. You just kill stuff in Helltide. But then there's also like materials reserve nightmare dungeons or escalation dungeon sigils. So if you get materials reserved, that's actually like really good for that stuff. You can force it a little bit through tributes for Undercity, which also has like the Horadric Cube materials. You can do it that way. If you just kind of want to focus more on just that. But honestly, the best answer is literally just playing, roughly. Like, it'll come. Player key. We need to head over there now. Was a max pit that would do a Heartseeker? I haven't like tried a max pit yet. I don't think I will, to be honest with you. Not with the how buggy Azarath and Pale Gains is at the moment. I don't really feel like dealing with that. But just for reference, the 120s that you're talking about, I do 120s on this build right now in like 2 minutes. So I speed farm 120s on this setup. I'll probably max out like if I did like a pit push, like a serious pitch push, I'd probably max out like a 135, 136. If I have like my godlike gear, maybe 138. Pit, that is, not tower. Reckon you can do 150? No, I cannot. Nope. Not even. Not even. Can't even sniff the bottom of 150. Question regarding Heartseeker. If I only can equip one mythic, it should be Shard of Varathio at the dagger. All else being equal regarding weapon stack. If it's between those two, it will be Shard of Varathio. Eerie, what's up, man?
It is done.
With your eyes closed. Gladco Island Adventure. So CIA, basically. You're playing CIA. I see what you did there. Great work, keep it up. I really appreciate all the education you provide. Learn more from you than anyone else on the internet. All right, well, thanks, man. I'm glad I was able to help. In prison. All right. What I want to start drifting down towards. Actually, let's go grab that thing up here. I could do 150 if I drop to 0 and if I play D4. 0 15 seems doable, right? So I'm sure you can do a 16. Wait, where's the... Yeah, where's the chest up here? Or am I imagining this? I swear there's a chest up here. Like, I swear there's a chest up here. Okay, well. Came all the way up here to not get the chest that was somewhere around there. Did I not zoom in enough, or? I don't know. The Lost Arconan race. Yeah. DJ Chrono was up. Alright, so should be some worms around here. Like they'll bite. We got the second skins with jiggle physics. Those were some months ago. We got a fat suit for Male Warriors with beer belly physics. D4 players care about stats and DPS. Lost Ark players care about if the skin has jiggle. Who was it? Was it Lost Ark or was it? No, I don't think it was Lost Ark. Was it like Dead or Alive? I think it was. The Dead or Alive community at one point was upset because, like, I think the recent game or something like that didn't have like the same jiggle physics as it used to. It was trying to focus on being a little bit more conservative with like the you know, the physics. I mean, it was still there, just not to the same degree. And people got really upset. Like super upset. And like I think the company was trying to take itself a little more seriously, and like the player base was like, no. Like absolutely not. We will not have, you know, a serious fighter here. I can't see your halo when you spin and have boss fire around you. People can be passionate about causes such as jiggles. Apparently, man. What game was like really good for that? There was like a I forgot the name of the game. I think it was Stellar Blade. I think it was, where they definitely had like the jiggle physics was good, but apparently like the Gluteus Maximus, I'm gonna call it by its Latin name. The Gluteus Maximus had nice jiggle physics apparently, so it was fun for people because it jiggled like enough, right? It was like just enough jiggle for players to be like, yes, I'm happy with this game. But yeah, this game is the game for me, guys. Like I thought about not picking it up because like I'm really not about the stiff booties, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, devs who don't know how to make the booty jiggle just will not get my money, basically. Like that, like this is the age of gaming we're in, yes.
It is done.
Just yeah. And you know what's funny though? Like as much as I'm joking about this, like this is literally what some of the devs talk about. Like the Stellar Blade devs actually spoke about this, like spoke on this topic about that, and were afraid, like they wanted to make sure they got it right, otherwise because they didn't want people to complain about, like they literally were having meetings about the extent of the jiggle or they were in, like I kid you not, like that they were having important discussions about it, but it really is a thing. Like a serious topic. That is where we are, guys. That is where we are. Latin teacher confirmed. This is just like the Red Dead Redemption corporate meeting discussing the $100,000 budget on the horse's balls being rendered accurately. That's what? Oh man. Tell the hot what's going on. I wonder, is it still gonna be there by the time I get there? It's still gonna be there? Is it still there? It is. Or not. Oh no. Well, I guess I can go in the chamber. Free keys. Wait, you remember hearing about that? I do like very like faintly, like I vaguely remember that. Like when he said it, I was like, it came to mind. I'm like, huh, I remember something being discussed about that. I missed 2 keys, really? Well, I guess it's too late now. I can't go back. Huh. Whoops. That never happened. Never mind. Yeah. Agreed. What keys? Hey, there was no keys. Because imaginary things. Just like that chest I thought was up there. There was no chest. Alright. What do I have? A superior, 21 regular, 10 greater. Let's see if I can get like a decent war plan. Guys always missing something that the chat reminds me about. Remember those D3 ninja pylons you missed in those GRs back in the day? Dude, imagine what some of my clears would have been had I like seen them. Like you guys see like the little piece of edge, and I'm just like, what pylon? Yeah. Oh, that's right. They put the rep board in here now. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Appreciate the follow. Does anybody even do these anymore? Like the war plan stuff? Like, I guess after a certain point, yeah, just like stop. I still haven't finished my war plan things. I totally should. I don't really feel like leveling up the in front of Wars thing now. One, so I can go from here. That's Infernal Hordes, right? So I can go here, here. I do need to level up my bossing though. But then I don't really want to. I guess I could go back to Helltide. That's fine. Or City. Yeah, I guess it's fine. A bossing amulet going on. We fighting Gregory. I feel caught out right now because I still do him. I mean, I do too. That's why I just didn't want to be the only guy. I want a company. So I was like, there's got to be somebody out there still doing it, right? Right? Let's see. Hey, the Renovaros help you a lot. Many thanks for that. Bro, 2 questions. The tower push the final build? And is there a speed variant for the Renovaros build as well? I mean, technically speaking, the end game version is the speed variant. I mean, the only thing to make that more speedy is a little bit more cooldown reduction, but you have to like really stretch that to do like a permanent shadow step thing. And I feel like I'm not gonna grab the boxes right now, by the way. But I feel like for a guide that's kind of meant for the masses, like that's really difficult to recommend, if that makes sense. Like your dash and your shadow step is already mostly enough for random rails for like speed farming, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, you can reach the a breakpoint where you can infinite shadow step. It's just tough, like really hard for like the normal player to do. But yeah, the tower push is technically the final version, I guess you could say. Oh man, what? I had the wrong amulet on. But yeah, the tower push is technically the final version, but it's really meant for tower. You don't need all that power for like T12 at all. And you don't want to do Azarath and Pelgain for T12. So Azarath and Pelgain are specifically for tower and tower only. But you can use everything else as like your final version if you would like to do it that way. I'm gonna try to articulate this question correctly. Okay. And I don't believe it said nigga. The pretense is there. I see. Thank you. Yeah, man. You're welcome. This is the 120, by the way. For the other guy, I think he was talking about Heartseeker. I guess to bosses for damage and shrouds for more toughness. Yeah, so when you get I'll try to explain this a little bit better. Oh, that's like a minute and 30 seconds for that. Very nice, actually. 420. So when you get the mythic seal, okay, and I think I put it in the guide in like the very recent. When you get a mythic seal, you can then run like, you know, a mixed match set. You can do four sightless and 4 narrow's eye and 2 sightless charms to mix and match the set. When you do that, you gain 60% damage and 30% damage reduction. When you have that additional 30% damage reduction, you can then drop your pants. That probably sounds not the greatest thing, right? But whatever. I stand by it. You can drop you can drop your pants for to boss wills, right? And then not feel like you lost as much damage reduction at all, and you'll be fine. So you'll wear the gladiator's gauntlets, which will be it will be better doing so, and then you can also wear the Tabas will, and that's generally the end game, like the more min-max setup just for regular end game. I literally said it like with such a straight face initially. I'm like, wait a minute, whatever. I stand by it. I said it, damn it. Do what he says, Jack. But with the weaving, are you Dance of Knives between Heartseekers or Heartseeking between Dance of Knives? You are definitely Heartseeking between Dance of Knives. So the Dance of Knives is just the base of your movement and whatnot, and then you're just Heartseeking in between the Dance of Knives. Send me some pants so I can drop. So dropping my pants give you more power? Gosh. That was no comment. All right, I gotta beat up Butcher now. I probably should just keep the amulet in my inventory, but I'm so afraid of like salvaging it on accident that I don't want to do that. How to fix damage to bosses? On what build? The real power is from jiggle fixes, so dropping the pants exposes the booty, which increases the jiggles per second. I mean, accurate actually. Was it Edmonds on YouTube? He's talking about the boss damage. There's a boss variant or secret build. Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I'm playing right now. So I don't know if you're following a guide or my guide, but I do switch out the amulet. So I have high velocity on my amulet instead, but everything else stays the exact same. And if you do that with decent stats all the way around, then bossing is not hard. You have to get ready to see it right now. Me and Butcher. See? Granted, this is the end game version of Heartseeker where I got most of my stuff. But I was doing it like that with just one mythic. A crafted mythic. But you also got to make sure you weave in the Heartseeker often, as you saw me do. Like, I was tapping Heartseeker every, like, twice a second to force as many arrows as I possibly can. So you got to make sure you do that as well. Don't just spin, otherwise you're not going to do any damage. I didn't leave any chest open, did I? I know I got like a bunch of cinders, but I can't spend any. Oh, wait, are there actually any chests in here? Like whenever I would go and like to this Helltide, like maybe it was just me, but I've never seen any chests. Boss, what boss, right? Difference between poison and cold pen shot. Oh, okay. There are some chests. Yes, there is a difference. Like poison and cold bills function quite a bit different from each other. But they're both good though. Poison pen shot tends to be the better pusher. But from what I've heard, people in general, including the guide writer himself, he prefers playing cold. He finds cold more fun. But you mean you can do either or. You can do whatever you want. He was a hit off, not to derail your chat anymore. No more lost. Lost jiggle art. Alright, Area. Yeah. For those who don't know, like Area was like day one stream. Like he was there like literally like when I first started streaming. And back in 2020? April 2020. So he's like an OG. He actually used to be in like chat all the time. Like he was like my stream felt more like a podcast more than like a just, you know, stuff coming just from me. So like we would just talk about literally all in everything while playing Diablo 3 at the time. And then Lost Ark came out. He didn't want to play it, but I convinced him to try it because I was going to try it and he said fine. And then so he tried it. I stopped after about a month-ish or two, but he kept playing, and then yeah. He still pops around, of course. I think your game concept. I think it's really interesting. I just gotta play it. I gotta actually play it. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't really been thought of, but at the same time, like strategy games and like today's world with, you know, people and their, you know, attention spans of a gnat, you know, I can see why developers may not, you know, may not have wanted to go that route for like, you know, big budget games or whatnot. But I think the concept is actually really, really interesting. Dom Shots, appreciate. Is it cool build? Thanks. You playing it? Yeah. Did I get the thing? I'm still missing stuff. What's I got left? 7 minutes? And I'm full on stuffs. Not yet. You're leveling the barb at the moment. Best way to get the Jaw Rune. There are some bosses that actually drop specific runes more than others. I think we are actually in the process of doing the test for those because I mean it takes a lot of
potato,
you know,
potato, potato,
alright.
potato,
See you.
Potato. Hey.
It takes a lot of data to confirm which bosses are actually really dropping them, right? So we're still in the process of it, but yeah, there are certain bosses that drops certain runes more often than others. Outside of that, you can do tribute stuff. Undercity tribute rune stuff, greater runes or whatever. Like that's actually pretty helpful. Or stuff like that. And you can also craft the runes too. Like you can craft runes at the jeweler.
What brings you to the ancient isles?
What is that? Umber Crux.
May you fight.
Did you craft any mythic now that you got the scoundrels to drop? I did. I crafted the Gladiator's Triumph glove. I'd rather for that to drop so I can craft something else. So and Butcher, I'm trying to keep farming Butcher, not Butcher. I also still need a better one of these. Like the stats are horrible, but ideally I kind of want to run a slightly different set here. I kind of wanted to, so like this is like the in-game guide version of the build now. So like I have all the pieces for like the actual in-game guide version that you guys see. What I want to do is like take it a little bit further and go with Crown of Lucian to Boss Will and Starless. That would net me about a 39% increase in damage. But it would make me like a little squishier. But I want to play it. I want to try it, but I can't try it without all those pieces together. So good luck me trying to get any of those right, because you can't really target farm it to Boss Will for a mythic. You also target farming. You can't target farm a Crown of Lucian because it's like Astaroth loot, right? So, and then Starless Sky is apparently the iconic mythics are not dropping like they should. So it's like everything. It's gonna be so hard to get those pieces. For mythics, we're breaking the tower. I mean, I don't really do too much tower stuff, to be honest with you. 150 is bug. Well, yeah, we know. But no, I don't do a lot of tower stuff. I find tower quite boring. I know it's like technically our in-game kind of thing, but I think they need to do a better job with tower. Like a significantly better job with the state of tower at the moment. Kind of easy, just drop Amy. The purveyor from to gray and slam it. Oh no, I don't want like a regular Crown of Lucian. Like I want a mythic. Like kind of the point of like the combination working. Like I need mythic versions of those. Like I have a decent non-mythic, but like the damage increase from a non-mythic for both wouldn't really wouldn't be worth the trade-off. Slam a great into a unique, then into a mythic. Well, no, but then that makes it a crafted mythic. I can't wear it if it's crafted, sir. If that was the case, I would just craft my Starless too and be done with it. Like if I do that, then I can't wear this, which is crafted. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just can't go that route because it's not gonna like I wouldn't be able to wear it. You really got crafted. Well, I mean, yeah. Wait, why is? Actually, let me go ahead and grab that. I didn't even see that up there. No, we'll walk. I hate the crafted tag. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that either. Although I think it would be too easy to make all the mythics if the crafted tag wasn't there. But I do think that like the iconic mythics that you craft shouldn't be in the same category as regular mythics that you craft. So what I'm saying is you should be able to craft a iconic mythic and be able to wear it alongside with the crafted regular mythic. I think that's a decent compromise. Okay. And I got like X amount of seconds for get this chest. Did the tip of the tower right when I was gonna top 10. What class are you playing? Oh, you're Spiritborn. Gotcha. You only got 2 uniques. What's that? What you look for in a Starless? The same as I would for regular ring. Starless guys rolls with primary stat and attack speed already, so you have to roll the attack speed off for whatever stat you don't have. So like, what you want is crit chance, vulnerable damage, crit damage. So crit chance, vulnerable damage, crit chance, crit damage, vulnerable damage, dex. Is your ideal, which is hard to get. Which is why I like this ring, as you see, it just kind of is what it is. Unfortunately, I'm missing 2, but it just rolled. Like the other stats roll so bad that I just kept the attack speed on it, even if it doesn't do much. Things I'm getting married in 37 days. Okay. All right, Dire Wolf. It's been a minute, man. Didn't you used to stream at some point? It's also been a while too. Yeah, congrats, man. Want to see Myth is the new Primal, basically. They just didn't call it that. I'm assuming they didn't want to. They didn't want us to think that they got the idea from, or they didn't. They got it from Diablo 3. But like, people know. People know. I guess let me do a blue one because that's part of the seasonal journey thing. We'll do talisman item. We'll actually do it for real, for real. It was having one. But yeah, Direwolf, congratulations, man. That's a huge step. For sure. Especially like, just getting your life on track from being like, if you were a bit like depressed for a while and like you're experiencing true happiness, man, that's always a great thing. Great for your mental. Have I claimed my caches from the seasonal board in a while? I have, yeah. I did it like about 30 minutes ago. So yeah, I took all the stuffs already. You gave me any fragments? I did. I didn't use all my fragments because, again, you can only really craft one item, or you can only wear one crafted item. So, although I guess I could, what I could do is just keep rolling so I can get a better version of the crafted item I have. I mean, that's also like a thing. But I'm kind of waiting because like I still have keys and stuff and see what just kind of see what drops. What's next game you want to play after D4? Did you ever finish TMNT? I have not. So I'm surprised you remember that. But yeah, I have not. I don't know. That's actually a good question though, in terms of like the next game I may want to play. My time is like really limited, so it's kind of hard to like do variety stuff. While those fragments we should have all GA for GA perfect, transfig, crafted, mythic. He said, "Oh yeah, I remember most." Budget time limited work. Yeah, this isn't my full time job. Like I'm not a full time streamer. So yeah, this does not pay the bills. So I am a teacher in real life. I'll also say it in real life, and then also as a teacher in real life, you have to understand that teachers don't make much money, or don't make much money relative to what they should in the cost of living. So most teachers have a second job. So I do this. So I teach full time. I also have a second job, and then I stream and make content when I can. And then Maxroll, when I do build guides for Maxroll, that's like my third side hustle, I guess. That's like my third-ish job. So the teach, the second side hustle, Maxroll's third side hustle, I guess, if you want to put it that way, and then also the content creation stuff and streaming. That's why like it, sometimes it can be like if you don't see me stream on like a day or two or whatnot, it's literally because I'm trying to catch up with other things. If you want to be transparent, streaming actually used to be like my second side hustle before Twitch started pulling, like before companies started pulling a bunch of ads from Twitch, because like people weren't watching Twitch as much as they were back in COVID. So like 2020, 21, and 22 was like, you had a lot of companies advertising on Twitch. Then 2023 and beyond, they really pulled a lot of their support. And so people who were relying on that ad revenue, which would be the smaller streamers, small to mid-sized streamers, lost a lot of money, like a lot of money. Like the ad revenue is down like 90% for streamers. So unless you were a big name streamer that has sponsorships that didn't rely on ad revenue, like a lot of subscriptions or sponsorships or whatever like that, then you were like kind of screwed if you were relying on that income. So unfortunately, I'm like considered maybe like a mid-sized streamer, and so like I lost a ton of income since then. Like it's nothing that anyone did, like not the audience or anything like that. Literally, it's just like they don't pay out nearly as much for the same amount of ads that I have always ran, which was 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes roughly, which is low compared to a lot. But so because of that, I had to pick up my other side hustle again, which gave me less time to do this, unfortunately. So that's the 100% transparent version of that. You have to make your Twitch primes out. No, I don't. You said you blame Jeffrey. I mean, I would like to as well. But the reality is, it really is just a business move, right? Like, how like all those companies kept firing all the like workers or laying off workers and stuff like that. Like the game companies kept laying off because they hired so much during the big boom in the pandemic when people were gaming a lot, and so they were trying to capitalize on that. And now for the past couple of years, they've been shedding all the all the additional hires that they pretty much overhired, like everywhere overhired. And now they're trying to scale back and shed. And it sucks for the people who are working, obviously. But as a business decision, like I understand why they're doing it, but it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Right. But with them scaling back, that also means less ad revenue and less companies investing in Twitch, which means less ad revenue for the streamers. And, it all trickles down that way. Kyra appreciate the follow. I don't know if I said that correctly. Let me do dopamine tunnels. So I want to do that. Forgotten Wisdom, Ruptures. I really don't like. I really don't like doing ruptures at all. Like, period. I know they're very important right now, but I don't like doing. Oh well. We're kind of stuck doing it. What do I teach? Music. Teach music. I am the assistant band director / percussion director for a school that I work at. And I also was running a county-wide indoor competitive percussion indoor program for a bit. In Latin. Gluteus maximus. That's right. In fact, actually, percussion camp starts next week, so I gotta finish up some music writing this weekend to get them prepared, or to be prepared for next week. You're basically fluent. What are you farming today? Honestly, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing a bunch of different things, getting keys. Like, different things that can get me keys, I guess. And then we'll go back to boss layering for a little bit. And then we'll see if we get any upgrades. And that'll be kind of it, really. I did end up, like, finishing out the in-game version of my build. The ring still sucks. But, I mean, it's the best we can get. But, yeah. So, like, now I'm actually playing the in-game version of the guy without the Shaco, of course, because of course I don't have that, and it plays well. It plays well. I can do like a 90-second 120. So, which is means that the the upgrades really did help, and the build is building, is doing the thing. So, I'm happy with it. I'm trying to do an ultra min-max version that's going to give me about 39% more damage, but I need 3 more items that I'm probably not going to get my hands on because they're so hard to get. Can't really target farm them. Got a 3GA air prediction with cold damage multiplier. A cold damage multiplier? Like as a roll? Or did you or was that like a transfiguration? Like percent cold damage? Depth Trap the season is super dead. I have full mythics and pushing to 135 is still really hard. Not fully min-max, but almost there. Got 2 Azeroth already, but not single. I really wouldn't call that dead, though. Like, I wouldn't call that dead. I will say for the amount of effort it takes to build Death Trap, you would like for it to perform better for sure. Totally not denying that, but like for what Death Trap is, which is it's like a superior speed farmer, T12, like mega, ultra, like giga, speedy type thing, it still does the thing. It's just, Random Rails kind of takes that top spot that we kind of thought Death Trap might take this season. I kind of knew Random Rails was going to be our strongest build. Like I from theory crafting it and putting it on actual, like I kind of knew. I'm like, the numbers are there, but we all thought Death Trap would be rather close as well. It just didn't pan out that way. It's a hot take. Random Rails is somewhat like playing Spin to win a Heartseeker, throwing in a lot too with spamming Random Rails. I guess you could say that, yeah. We want Death Trap to be back so bad. Well, I mean, good news is that Random Rails is technically Death Trap. It's just a rectangle Death Trap. if you truly think about it, like you do the exact same thing, it pulls, it moves mobs around a bunch, right? It's just in the rectangle of arrows instead of a circle of shadows. But it plays exactly the same way. It just visually looks different, right? Yeah, see? There you go. Yeah, it's literally just a rectangle-shaped death trap is what Rain of Arrows is this season. Which is actually kind of a problem, honestly. Like, it sounds like that's okay. Like, you know, I know I'm being cheeky or whatever, but that's kind of a problem when you think about it overall. Appreciate it so much. My whole family's musical. They wanted to remove it from the curriculum in Florida. You know, fuck that. Yeah, there's been some areas in South Carolina where I used to live where they were trying to get rid of music in schools and stuff, and couldn't stay there any longer because of that at the time. So I had to move. Good morning, bro. So happy with your spending way hearts. A good bill is insane. 280 Paragon clip hit 120 in under 3 minutes. Very good job. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Haha, if you squint. Yeah. This is a very fun build for me. I find Rain of Arrows kind of sluggish. Like we have to do the dashes and stuff. But outside of pushing buttons, the walking speed in town, for example, is a tank. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It's meant for you to kind of keep dashing and shallow stepping all the time, generally. You don't really want to walk if you can avoid it. But that is such the nature of said build. I didn't close much ruptures at all. What do diamond? Hey, there's a man. What's up, rogues? What up, man? But that's a death trap build. 245 paragrams. He is the truth. Can do pit 110 in like under a minute. Yeah, it's like that's like super speedy. Like that's the strength of like death trap. But back to what I was saying though, like I find the fact that like Rain of Arrows right now is it's literally just a rectangle shaped death trap to be a problem. Because if there isn't much of a identity between the two builds, like if they function almost identically, right? Then each season is going to come down to which one does more damage. Because functionality, you don't really have a reason to play one over the other than like maybe you just want to see a different visual or whatever. So like I really feel like Rain needs to be distinctly different again from Death Trap to give you a reason to want to do both or, you know, try the other. Like if you're already playing Death Trap, there's little reason to play Rain of Arrows unless you want to like push, right? And also vice versa. Because they literally do the same thing. But yeah. It's +4 cold and beam. Okay, I was getting ready to say, I'm like, if it can roll cold damage, like I did not know that. That would change a lot of things. Barber's getting you spoiled. Fair. With the Blizzard post, you think you might get the craft tag removed? I don't think so. I think they're just gonna make iconic mythics actually like easier to obtain, like they said it they would, and then that's it. I don't think they're gonna actually remove the crafted tag. I'd be very surprised if they did. Good question. Crit multiplier or vulnerable multiplier, which has more power? Well, they're both separate buckets. So, how do I answer this? Like, so you actually want both. You want both, but you want a balance of both because there's diminishing returns on the stat itself. So if you have like a ton of crit damage but no vulnerable damage or vulnerable multiplier, then you want vulnerable multiplier. It's going to be worth a lot more than additional crit damage if you have a lot of crit damage already. Also, the same thing, vice versa. If you have a ton of vulnerable damage but no crit damage, then you want more crit damage because you already have a lot of vulnerable damage. In most cases, though, because weapons, you cannot roll vulnerable multiplier on weapons, generally speaking, you want to maximize your crit damage on weapons, and then you want to GA and masterwork vulnerable everywhere else, while still getting crit damage, but you just don't want to put as much attention on crit damage as you do vulnerable damage on the other pieces of gear. I know that was a mouthful, but does that make sense? I don't need to be like Ash Ketchum or anything. I don't need to be very fast. I just want to have fun and complete activities I need to. I guess they can create a craft and a create attack for cube stuff. Why wouldn't they just fix the obvious? I don't know. I do not know. I don't even think they really. I don't think Blizzard really even wants to do anything with the iconic mythics for this season right now. Like, I don't think they want to go back and fix anything right now at all. Like this team that's like trying to work on trying to get the iconic mythics like fixed. Like Blizzard themselves or up or management did not want to pull the team off of whatever new project they had them on to fix this one thing. Right. As you can tell, they didn't want to pull off that team to fix other stuff in the game that should be fixed for the season. Yet alone now this iconic thing. So I guess they're putting forth resources they wasn't going to do or didn't want to do for that thing, which is why I don't think they're gonna mess with the crafter stuff, the crafter tag or whatever. They're gonna do just enough to fix that one major thing they said that they fix, and then they're gonna put that team right back on whatever project they were on before, which sucks for us. It really does suck for us. But it is what it is. How much crit damage is too much? Well, it's kind of hard to say. So if you're following a guide, like if you're following a guide, the guide has it mapped out for you. Like the guide tells you what you should master work and what GAs you should have on crit damage and vulnerable damage. Like we already did the math for you for that. So if you're following the guide, you follow the GA patterns and the masterwork patterns for both crit damage and vulnerable damage. If you do that, you will have the most optimal balance of both of those stats. The project they're working on is adding a subscription fee for Diablo. I doubt they'll at least everyone to go play PoE. Nah, they would never do a subscription for Diablo. I don't think they would ever do a subscription model period anymore. Like World of Warcraft is like the last. It's like the last of that model. We're never gonna see that again in any Blizzard games. Thank you so much for being a responsive content creator. Yeah, man, no problem. I don't know. Maybe to me, I find it weird, but if I'm gonna be streaming to people across the world and not engage with the people I'm streaming to, that I would want to then for them to enjoy my content, then what am I really doing? Am I an asshole, or is working on tower pulling away from more important things? No, actually, I don't think they're doing enough with the tower. Honestly, tower is still in such a terrible position that I don't think they're really doing as much as I feel like they should. Like, they removed the beta tag, but the tower still feels pretty bad overall. They made some fixes, like they actually made some fixes that wasn't documented. Actually, a friend of mine like confirmed, but they still need to do a lot more. A lot more. Hey chat, I have a question for you. Honest question. Since I kind of told you guys about like my schedule and like how hard it is sometimes to be able to kind of keep up streaming consistently due to my work schedule sometimes, or working schedule for other things, like, would you all be opposed to me doing like when it gets really busy, would you be opposed to me doing like shorter streams but stream more often, or like stream it's to be less often but longer streams? So like, for example, maybe I do like a 2.5 hour stream or whatever when it's busy, but I can only do like maybe 2.5 hours or whatever. But I can do that a little bit more often. Or would you prefer like a, only weekends or so, or for example, but they're like 5 or 6 hour streams? How many days a week? I guess it just depends. Like if I do like a 2 or 2.5 hour stream, like I could probably muster up maybe like 4 days a week roughly. But if it was like for the longer streams, like it would be like maybe 2. Just because of the amount of work I have to do. Whichever one doesn't burn me out. So to be honest, like the streaming portion doesn't really burn me out because fortunately, I do what I want for content. Not saying that you guys, what y'all want doesn't matter, but like in terms of like, my streams and stuff, like I play what I want, I do what I want. I do what I do what I find fun. Right? Like I'm not going to cater to stream around potentially bringing in more guests or viewers, right? Like it's either you like what I do or you don't like what I do in a sense, right? That's kind of how that comes down to. So like it wouldn't burn me out doing it. It'd just be more of a, can I fit it in sort of type thing. Appreciate the follows, guys. But yeah, but because I do what I want, I have fun doing the things I'm doing, so which hopefully translates to the viewers having fun because they see that the content creators having fun. And yeah, it's just a thought. Like I'm not saying either one of those like is going to happen. But like if I had to get somewhat of a, see how people feel about it, what would it be per se? What would the preference be? Cheers from Brazil. I vote shorter streams more often. Yeah. Personally, I love the rogue, so I jump to you every season I find to find the way. Basically, when you're on, I'm here. I do see you often. Helldiver for sure. You're here a lot. That's a tough question to answer though. That's fair. I'm just curious. Do you want to stick to D4 or branch out into other games you enjoy? So D4 is definitely going to be the primary project because that's a lot of what my content and brand or whatever was created upon, right? And also I do work for Maxroll, so there's importance there for me to put a lot of emphasis on the Diablo 4 stuff, right? But of course, when it's in the slow period, I do try to play some other variety games, just depending on like if there's anything out there I want to try and play. But oftentimes I think the variety games I tend to like to play sometimes don't necessarily mesh with the audience that also likes that likes D4. So like, and it could just be just my taste in like variety games. Like I actually like, I like roguelike games. Things like Hades 2 and stuff like that. Like I really enjoy those because it's like they're hard, but in the in a specific way, right? Souls like I don't mind too much as well. Oftentimes I might sit there and like do some Heroes of the Storm from just cause Blast in the Past. I used to be really good at that. And in the past, like 4 years ago, I would stream Smash Ultimate sometimes. But I know like that's a kind of a niche game and like a niche genre, right? But I used to be really good at that too. But yeah, I know people really play Heroes. Oh yeah, so like right, so believe it or not, Heroes of the Storm actually has a okay sized player base that still plays, and you know why? Because the devs actually update the game. They actually make patches and do updates and like hero updates and map updates and revamps and stuff. They still do that like once every couple of months. I will argue they do almost as much, if not more, updates than like Diablo 4 does with their team. Like it's crazy. It's crazy that is still living and breathing right now. Of course, but if you do it more often, you can have a variety or something. Yeah, I'll look into it because I want to do this more. Like I still want to continue to do this, but I also gotta be financially responsible in the case of like having to do the side hustles to make ends meet because I have a house and stuff like that with the wifey. So, I love for Germany playing right now. You're up at 5 Bill. Love it. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Why Blizzard don't take Umber Crux for good until they really fix that issue? You know what's funny, Alex? Alexandra? The funny part about it is that Umber Crux is not bugged anymore. Believe it or not, it's not bugged anymore. It's still using the build, but it's not bugged anymore. People are using Umber Crux to spread the bug, the issue. So Umber Crux is actually working as intended. Finally, it's actually a different bug. As crazy as that sounds. What's crazy is WoW streamers, they are basically stuck on WoW for the most part because they won't have their viewers go watch that the streamer is playing another game. That's actually very, very true. That's very, very true. It's hard to grow in. It's like if you mained your audience in like a particular like game and or potential genre, it's hard to segue into other games. It is, and still grow. You will lose over half your audience if you start playing other games, and your brand is based on one specific game before that. You just will. Like it's just a natural thing. Like even like major big streamer people, right? Like for instance, like Wudijo or like Rob, like they're massive in this space for Diablo 4, right? But if they streamed other games, including Path of Exile 2, they lose at least half of their player base. And Path of Exile 2 is still an action RPG, and they're both really good at that still. But their audience want to see them play Diablo 4, right? So it can be real tough if your intent is to grow, right? Why did you stop playing PoE 2? Honestly, I'm just I'm just waiting for it to release. I'm waiting for the official release. That's it. I still like it. Like I still like PoE 2. But at the same time though, you also got to remember PoE 2 is also a grind game. Diablo 4 is also a grind game. In order to enjoy PoE 2, you have to sink hundreds of hours into it. And imagine trying to find time to sink hundreds of hours into PoE 2 while sinking hundreds of hours into Diablo 4 while also working 2 different jobs and the wife and all that. It's like you see where the problem kind of comes in. Yeah, like other games like roguelikes and stuff like that, I can kind of boot up and play like maybe, 5 or 10 hours at a time, and that's fine, right? But like, if trying to play other action RPGs too at the same time while not being a full-time creator, it's hard to do. Like it's really hard to manage. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. Like I like the game. I totally like the game. It's just we just need more than 24 hours in the day. If you were to cover multiple games, it would probably become your full-time job, pretty much. And no offense to you guys, but like, I don't think I would ever give up teaching for full-time content creating. There's something I cannot get back. From doing anything else, because like to me, especially since I teach music, I have the kids or like those kids for all 4 years of high school usually, so I get to watch them grow up from being like short snot-nosed individuals coming in their freshman year, right, to being like basically young adults their senior year, right? And you're pretty much the second parent from home because you almost see them as much as their own parents see them. So you're pretty much a mentor more so than just a teacher, and so you get to like watch them grow and like be like hopefully decent citizens in society, right? And not only that, but like if you make a big enough impact, they will come back and like find you and like, thank you. And, even maybe want to like grab a drink with you. Like I have former students who are in their late 20s, 30s now, early 30s now, that will literally hit me up and be like, hey, you want to go grab a drink or something? I'm like, cool. Yeah, sure. And like, it's so cool when you can do that. Like, it's so cool when you can like continue to see them grow in their own things and what they do and whatnot. Like that feeling and stuff that you make that kind of impact is irreplaceable by anything. Like nothing for me replaces that feeling. So I could never really go full time with this. With streaming, that is. I'll put it that way. Actually, what is my count now? 8th. 8311? We'll keep going for a little bit and then we'll do some bosses and then I'll probably call it. Why is it not bugged? Oh no, so okay, so I guess so the Umber Crux itself was not the problem. They're disabling the XP to prevent the spread of the bug that the Umber Crux allows, but the Umber Crux itself initially was not the issue. And my thing is, I mean, it's an exploitative build. It can get you in trouble. I wouldn't do it anyways because it's against the TOS and it can get your account banned. So I wouldn't recommend doing it in the first place. We have really good builds anyway that don't require you to want to exploit. Like regular Rain of Rails is actually really good right now. So like I really wouldn't complain about not being able to exploit. Just saying. To be tossed, not know to the visual. It was on D4 this season for a few days, but WoW took over. Oh, you're talking about someone else. Teacher is an admirable job. Makes sense. Probably feels more rewarding. Oh, for sure. I think one of the PoE creators is Nube. Is also a teacher and a part-time content creator. As a teacher, do you ever feel like a student fails at school and you do everything in your power to help them progress, but they just can't? Does that mentally hurt you? Has it happened? It has happened to one of my teachers, and it defeated him. Yeah. I mean, you can't save everybody as much as you would like to, and you try. In fact, actually, I won't mention his name because some of my former students who do view the stream sometime wouldn't know who I'm talking about. So I won't mention his name. But I do have a student that recently graduated that I feel like, as much as I possibly could have done to kind of steer him in a better direction, like I feel like I ultimately failed at that. And I still think about it in a way of like, could I have done better, or could I have done more? Could I have made better examples, better analogies, anything? Like you always think back to yourself on what you think you could have done better, right? You don't ever really put it on the student as much as you put it on yourself, right? Because you are the adult. So like in your mind, you're gonna think, okay, well, sure, the student might have been difficult, or it might have been like really difficult in that sense, but you're still the adult, and it's still like you still want to be the one to find a solution. So I had one student that I was really trying to like, get them to be on a better path of things, and like I still reached out to him. I'm like, when you graduate, if you need anything, man, just like call me, like hit me up or whatever. So like I don't really know if he will, but like we'll kind of see. But I would say luckily I've been far more successful with students, succeeding than failing for sure. But you do think about the ones that you don't get, that you didn't reach as much as you would like to. I think the spin and win with like 3 mythics would pair with the standard 225 energy rain of arrows damage. No. Rain of arrows. Rain of arrows is definitely in a league of his own. I'm trying to read up in the chat. I mean, that wouldn't be anything in the social leash on social benefits, and I had a mentor in high school. Let me scroll up. A mentor in high school that literally said I was too smart for the grade he just put in. I graduated with 4 A's and B's, a few B's in that school. Now working in the government system. I guess the first teacher was right, just on the wrong side of where I would end up. So keep up the good work. Yeah. You can't make a student want to learn and make decisions for them. You have to live their own lives. True, but I think at the same time, though, like I think ideally you want to try to provide perspectives that gets them to come to to hopefully get them to realize something earlier rather than later that can help them make a different decision. Like you can't force it for sure, obviously, right? But you hope that maybe you can provide something to get them to potentially like weigh in what you're saying. Usually, hopefully, before it's too late. What do I teach? Music, primarily percussion. Like percussion studies at a high school, and I guess you could say the district really with the indoor program as well. You all had bad teachers about like good ones too. Oh yeah, there were definitely teachers that, you know, that a few of them actually, you know, motivated me to be more than what I was originally thought I was gonna be. Then I had a professor who said I was gonna end up working at McDonald's for the rest of my life. And I kind of like, you know, scoff at that obviously, but I think I saw him once or twice after that. It's funny because like I ended up doing what he was doing, which is teaching music, despite the fact that he said I was gonna end up working at McDonald's or whatever. I saw him in a convention, like, hey. He's like, hi. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing here? Like, I teach music now. You know, not the college level like you do, but yeah, you know. You kind of just walked away, but that's all right. Anyways. I had one success with one student that fell into the cool kid crowd, and the counselor told me to give up and to get the student out of the program, which sucked. Yeah, I actually had a I'll tell you guys a story. And now he works at McDonald's. what a plot twist. I had a short story. Well, I guess it's not really short, but I guess I'll tell you the story. So I had a kid that we would do like indoor percussion rehearsals after school. At this one school I was working at, and the band room was open all the time, and there was this one kid that kept coming in, and like he would come in. He wasn't really rowdy or anything like that, but he was, you know, he always wanted to, you know, play drums or whatever. Like that was something he always wanted to do, but he was never really good enough to like make the drum line, or he wasn't really like musically inclined in that sense or whatever. But he would come in the band room and like, you know, he'll come in, he'll play some drum set or whatever, and then the band director will always yell at him to leave. He's like, okay, leave and stuff like that, which makes sense because you are playing on instruments that are expensive, that, you know, you're not in the programs, so you shouldn't be messing around with those things. So it makes sense that you shouldn't be doing it. But the way he talked to him was always kind of like a bit more not rude, but a bit more abrasive than it really should have been. But like, you know, he would leave. He wouldn't cause any problems or whatever. But one day, we had a rehearsal on like Saturday, and my actual drum set player, who was freaking beast, this dude ended up winning like INE competitions, like world INE competitions for drum set or whatever. Eventually, what a like beast of a kid though. But anyways, he was doing something on drum set, and like this kid that keeps coming in the band room that would not stop coming in the band room, he started dancing. Like, he started breakdancing out of nowhere. And instead of telling him to leave, or the band director telling him to leave because the band director wasn't there, I just sat there and not watched. And I just let him dance. And so at the time, we were rehearsing for our indoor percussion program, which is a show that you have to kind of, it's like a production where you're kind of like doing a show with drums on basically and front ensemble instruments. So like you're basically creating a production for the audience, and you're competing against other percussion groups worldwide. So I was watching him dancing, and I was just like, I pulled him to the side and I said, how long you been dancing? And he's like, yo man, like all my life, you know. It's like what I do, like what I love to do, right? And like when I got close to him, like he reeked of like weed, like you can smell, like it was really, really strong. So I asked him, I said, what do you do on weekends? Like knowing good well what he actually does on weekends. Like I know what you do on weekends. But it's because I know what you do on weekends. It's like, how do I get this kid to do something more positive? And he dances. He's really good at that. So I said, you know what? I know you don't really, you're not good at drums and stuff like that. It's really not your thing. But I said, come back next weekend. Come back next weekend, same time. And he's like, why? He's like, I might have something for you. So he comes back the following weekend and whatnot. And I said, are your weekends free for the most part? He's like, yeah, I can kind of be here on weekends. I'm like, cool. Well, I want you to be part of our indoor percussion show. He's like, am I gonna play drums? I'm like, no, you're not gonna play drums. You're definitely not good enough for that. That's not your thing. But I'm gonna actually have you play a character role where you actually get to breakdance in parts of the show. And that at this time, no other group had anyone doing anything like this. And his like face lit up. He's like, I get to like dance. I'm like, yeah, we will incorporate your talents into our indoor percussion show. And he's like, bet. He's like, I'm here every weekend. I'm like, cool. And he did exactly that. He showed up every weekend. He was very respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. All the time. Apparently, the other teachers had problems with him. Like they kept saying he was rowdy and like wouldn't like listen. It was like rude and disrespectful. I'm like, I never had any problems with him. Literally, and it's like, oh, he's always late to class, and I'm like, no, he's actually always early to my rehearsals. He's early to my rehearsals. He stays late to help clean up. I don't know what issues you guys are having, but great here. But anyways, to get further into the story, that kid ended up becoming the star of the percussion show that year, in which we did end up getting a gold medal for. So we ended up like winning championships or whatever. But every show we went to, the audience, whenever it was his turn to kind of like slide in like break dance or whatever, would go nuts. Like the whole arena was just like screaming and stuff like that. And you can tell like this kid has never really gotten anyone to really like allow him to do what he's passionate about. And that's all it took. All it took was someone actually paying attention and like allowing, saying he can do something. And even my percussion kids who, were in the program, like, treated him well and like, enjoyed the fact that he was there and stuff like that. They didn't feel any certain kind of way about it. Right. But what it did was, people kept asking me, he's like, oh, you just kind of got the kid to break dance for like GE points or general effective points. I'm like, no, like you guys have no idea why he's there. Like people thought that he was designed into the program initially. It's like, oh yeah, he's part of the show, he's part of the design. I'm like, no, he was not. He was not initially part of the design. What people didn't know was I was trying to get him off the streets because I knew what he was doing on weekends. And when I saw him dance, that was an opportunity for him to be able to use his talents to do something positive versus being on the streets doing drugs. So because of that, though, we spoke his senior year after being in the program for 2 years. And while he wasn't really doing well in school, we did talk about, getting him into the military and stuff like that and like doing something else different. And that's an example of like me like saving a kid in a sense, where everyone else thought that he was designed to be part of the product when we were competing, when in reality I was really trying to save a kid from going down the wrong path. And it was really cool. Like to this day, he's still like, every now and then will like message me or whatever. But like that's an example of like just paying attention and just being like, how can we make this a positive situation in a way? Project room. Yeah, man. What build is this? Heartseeker? Yeah, this is Spin the Wind Heartseeker. When it has throughout the way, think you should not do concentration full time. That would be a net loss for society. I mean, I really enjoy doing what I'm doing though. Like, so it takes people being passionate about, you know, like the people who are passionate about what they do. You know, will usually have decent results, right? Usually. You just gotta care about what you're doing. And have a passion for it, right? And I mean, and of course there are also, you know, examples of kids being, you know, doing some horrific things, right? Like, let's be honest. But I mean, you know, overall, sometimes you can kind of change the outcome. I have another, like, kind of a shortish story or whatever. I remember we were going to a football game. Away football game. So like the drum line takes a smaller, the band takes a smaller group of kids to the away games for, you know, the play and like the football games or whatever, right? You know how like band plays at football games and play jams and stuff or whatever. So we were actually on the way to an away football game, and I remember having a couple of parent chaperones that were on the trip, and we get to the school that we were going to, and like there was like a couple of parents that were one parent that was freaking out. She was like, "Oh my god!" You know, there were like two kids that were like laying horizontal on the bus, like, you know, a male and a female, right? They were laying horizontal on the bus, on the seat, or whatever. And like she was like, "I can't deal with this. These kids, they're just, you know, trying to grow up too fast and trying to be this and trying to be that, right?" You know, like the typical, you know, kind of parent reaction you kind of would, you know, you would have. So I said, "Okay, bring the two kids off the bus, right?" And like they get off the bus, they're thinking they're in like huge trouble, like, you know, there's like a, you know, something happened. And so I pulled them to the side, away from everyone else on purpose. I'm like, you know, I said, "Look, I was in high school, I had a girlfriend, and the bus rides is where I would chill with my girlfriend. Like, that was quality time that we got a chance to spend with each other, right? I mean, I've been there, done that. I get I get it." But I said, when you were in uniform and you're going to somewhere to represent something bigger than yourself, stuff like that can just look bad. I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I don't even know what you did. I have no idea what you did. But when you're in uniform, you represent something bigger than yourself. So now, when you're not in uniform and, you know, you go off, you know, do, like, you know, do y'all thing. Like, if y'all got your own spots, whatever, it is what it is. No hating. I could care less, right? But when you're in uniform, you know, you can't make something look like something else, because then it affects the whole program, not just you guys. And like they just kind of just looked at me like with like the blankest stare, because they really thought I was gonna yell, and I'm just like, "Nah, man. I mean, I get it. Like, y'all." Like, I mean, adults are humans too, right? Just don't make it look like that here. You know, go to y'all other spots that you're normally would go to, or whatever. But I never had a problem. I never had a problem with those kids ever again. Like, they never like did anything like that or make it look like whatever, because I actually treated them like people. It was interesting. I didn't do the yelling at them and making them feel disgusted or disgusting. I'm like, no, man, shit, we've all done that. Like, we've all done that, and probably worse, considerably worse in some cases. So I don't know why we have to act like we're like, you know, above all in that sense. But when that parent chaperone came out to me and just like, what'd you do? Like, I kind of lied and said, "Oh yeah, I yelled at them. You know, I set them straight. I yelled at them." And she's like, good. And just let her just like walk away or whatever. But, you know, it is what it is though. Like, you know, so, you know, it's how you approach a situation, you know, is more important. Greenberg, what's going on? You got your associates, now you're working on your radiology program. Nice. Major story sounds like when I was a troubled kid. I want you people to care about major principal and science teacher. They convinced me to do military, and I did that, and now you're a husband and father. Nice. When kids like me struggle, sometimes we just need a little structure. Yeah, man. Just someone to care, you know? Yeah. Mr. Mark, what's up, man? I see you on YouTube. But it's funny though, like when you think about it, I guess now that you guys know that I'm a teacher now, it probably, the fact that I do Maxwell guys and I write guys and I respond to all the comments in the YouTube videos probably make more sense now, right? Because it's not me just writing the guys. Like I want people to actually be good at the build that they're trying to play. Question about 300 resource for Random Rails build. So I'm trying to understand the difference between 225 and 300 at both versions. Can sub 15 seconds. It's just an extra 70, just extra damage per resource from Beastfall boots. Roughly, yeah. That's pretty much that. It is that. It's harder to gear for, which is why it's not like the in-game version. It's like the Tyro push one because it's hard to gear for. But yes, it is more damage. If you can reach that break point, it is definitely more damage. Wait, where's the thing? Oh yeah, okay, I got that already. Yeah. It's not necessary to reach though. Like for all intents and purposes of content, like literally the mid game version is more than enough to dominate T12 easily. The 300 resource one is primarily if you're trying to push pit in like the high 130s, low 140s range or whatever. Like that's when that kind of makes a lot more sense. The extra damage is better than marksman, racer, and charge if you had to pick and choose. So let me go into more details about that. So going to the 300 resource spec also allows you to take the double damage node on the Rain of Arrows. So you're not taking the cooldown one anymore. You're taking a double damage one. So you're also getting more damage out of that too because you don't need to roll as many cooldown reduction stuff because of the amount of energy that you're doing. So if you think about it, sorry, let me look at this again. Yeah. So if you think about it, it's not 15-second cooldown reduction, it's 20-second cooldown reduction. Because reaching 300 allows you to take off 5-second cooldown from Rain of Arrows, which allows you to run less cooldown reduction technically. Slightly less cooldown reduction, and also allows you to take the double damage node from Rain of Arrows instead of cooldown reduction one. So not only are you getting more damage from the Beastfall boots per se, but you're also getting more damage from the Rain of Arrows side node that you get to pick up as well. Does that make sense? Any idea when the Max Road podcast is happening again? That's actually a good question. We were supposed to do it last week, actually. I think we talked about it, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know why we haven't done it. Being honest, I don't know if we still will for this season. Because Ava's about to get really busy, and so am I. But I'll ask. I can already hit that using Sightless and Narrows. I got the Mythic Seal because that has an extra 6-second reduction. Yeah, so with Sightless though, I guess because you can, it's easier to hit. Yeah, you can go that route. But I guess if you're not pushing, that's fine. If you are pushing, you definitely, Narrow's Eye is the way to go. It's almost not even close at the end of the day. But if you're not pushing, then for sure stick with Narrow with Sightless. but make sure that you can do the 300 breakpoint while being able to take the double damage node, which means you need a lot of resource and okay amount of cooldown to be able to achieve, which means that you are losing ranks on Rain of Rails. But keep in mind that like the plus ranks on Rain of Rails isn't really much damage at all. The ranks matter more so of helping you get energy back from Aftermath. That's why ranks is important, not because of the damage per se. Because once you reach like 30 ranks or so like that, each rank is like roughly worth 2.7% damage. It's really not a lot at all. So the ranks are more so for being able to making sure that the build can perform, not the damage per se. It's the goal to use intercom on Amulet. You don't want to use intercom on Amulet. Like Frozen Memories for regular content is by far better than intercom on the Amulet. Now, on the tower version, you don't have room for intercom. You can only use 2 aspects, and that's or 3 aspects, and that's Ferocious on your weapon, which you can always have. You have Aftermath in the Amulet, and then Frozen Memories on the weapon. That's for the tower push. But for the end game version, you still don't want to do intercom on your Amulet. That's a damage loss. I mean, Mythic Seal allows for 1 less piece, so I can run both Narrow's Eye 5 piece and Sightless 3 piece. Oh, well, yeah. So, yeah. I'm almost forgetting what the point of this was. Sorry. Can you remind me what the what you were asking? Avatar is the goal to use other aspect in Ami. I'm also kind of confused about what you're asking here too. Are you trying to what other aspect are you trying to use? Because like you wouldn't need to change your aspect based on the amount of cooldown and resource you have. 29 skills you get Aftermath. The only reason why you would change Aftermath from an Amulet is if you just didn't have the original breakpoints to begin with. Like Aftermath on an Amulet is kind of a crutch if you don't have the amount, enough of the stats needed, right? I mean, you basically have. I mean, you're basically at the breakpoints, so you have what you need. Granted, your Aftermath is rolled well. The difference between 300 and 225, if I can, is sub 15 seconds. Yeah, the 300 will be more damage for sure because you can run. But you don't need to hit sub 15 cooldown though. So like I don't really know where that comes from. If you're doing 300 energy, you only need 20 because the 300 energy allows for an additional 5 seconds off due to preparation. That's what gives you some leeway. You just need to get under 20 instead of under 15 instead. That's why we can take double damage node. That's on the guide. If you have 300, you lose out on the damage. No. If you build around it, which is a lot harder to do, you have to gain quite a bit of damage. But if you just go to 300 and don't do anything else, then yes, you will lose damage. Rain of Rails is one of those like very detailed, semi-complicated builds. I guess we'll boss for the rest of the time. Do I have the Genji skin? I do, but like this skin is so like old school for me. Like I used to wear this a lot until people kind of just like, especially with like the Django hat or whatever. Haruchi, what's going on? If I swap vulnerable damage enemy for max resources better? No. Are you following a guide, Alexandra, by chance? Because like if you're following a guide, you just literally just go with a guide. Matthias? Bill? Okay. Yeah, so like just follow, yeah, to do that. He has a 300 energy version too. But that's again obviously way harder to hit. And it's not necessary really for T12 content at all. Like you already one shot things without getting to that break point. It's more so for like push and stuff. Because like if you like a Matthias's tower push, right? He has, you know, it's aftermath obviously on the amulet, and it's still like, you know, under 20-second cooldown. But he goes for the 300 breakpoint, so he goes for the 300 energy there. But that's only really for pushing, and that's it. Again, I mean, you can do it for regular content if you want to. It's just you're just not gonna notice any real difference other than like maybe bossing. Like you might kill bossing, like you might kill bosses like maybe 0.8 seconds faster than you did if you went with that, right? But nothing that's like, you know, like tangible. It's just min max. You're just, you know, doing it because you want to be that strong, right? That's what that is. Got 236 resources, but because of the 5 piece narrow, 3 piece sightless, I only need subs 21 seconds because sightless 2 piece creature. That's it. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, which makes you sub 15. Okay, so you're including the concealment cooldown in that equation. I got you. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was misunderstanding you because you were including the concealment cast. You drop it to 15 seconds, but you're still at 20 seconds. You just hit concealment and you're under. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's the way to go. You can do that. But just make sure that you take the double damage node still. If you're gonna do 300 energy, then the whole purpose behind it is to be able to take the double damage node for more damage and not to rely on that cooldown anymore. You have double damage? Okay, good. It's really hard to get the cooldown necessary with, you know, to not use cooldown reduction on the as a node. Like it's really hard for most players. All right, we'll do this Pandemonium thing real quick, and then we'll boss for a little bit, and then that'll be it for today. Needs the pet leg. Wait, I see vanquishing aspect. Who said that? Sorry, I think I missed somebody's comment. Wait, why is this here? There we go. I think using the Gladys Gaze charm as a charm is better because you can have way more damage on glove, especially vulnerable. And vanquishing aspect. If you're doing a 2P, if you're doing the mix and max set Actually, Gladiator's Triumph is actually the better play because you can make it a mythic, and that's way bigger damage boost than like a regular glove. The hard part is just getting a good Gladiator's mythic glove with the right stats. But a Gladiator's Triumph glove rolls the exact same stats as a regular glove, so you get the same thing. And Vanquishing is less damage, and it's conditional, which means that it doesn't work on unstoppable mobs or when the boss is not staggered. So typically that's not the route you want to take unless you just don't have the mythic seal, of course. And then at that point, that's different, right? Because then you have to put the Gladiator's Charm in because you don't have the mythic seal, right? And that part is okay. But when you do have the mythic seal, then you definitely want to do the other option. Peg leg is S tier. You know, I might revisit that. Oh, really? I'm packed. It's really hard build. Managed to equip every piece will go down. Also master word 26 skill ranks and still not enough for CD. For CDR, fixed it with CDR sealed. Yeah, because you also have to make sure you have a good aftermath aspect. Like it has to be like a well-rolled aftermath. Like if it's a low roll, then you need more skill ranks, and then there's issues. Okay. All right, so we'll salvage real quick and then we'll do some bosses. So let's go to Miss. Got 23 ranks and 5 out of 7 aftermath. Damage feels rough and have absolutely 0 luck of getting ranks on talismans. Yeah, that's at that point you want the aftermath to be on your amulet because there's no other way to really, almost no other way to smoothly run that build without the correct stuff.
This should be interesting.
I'm gonna hold on to that seal for different reasoning. All right, so they got my boss amulet. And let's do let's do Gregory. King Jax, what's up, man? Until you finally gotta keep spamming consuming to kill a core. Yeah, that's the only way to circumvent the amount that you're missing for that. Generally speaking, you can just kind of hold down the button. Like if you just hold down concealment along with everything else, like you should be fine. Like it'll auto cast for you if you hold the button down. Other ground, you go for anything specific? Just better, just more mythic stuff. I kind of got the end game setup finally going, even with the pretty awfully rolled Scoundrel's Kiss, but it is what it is. I kind of want to try the Carnelian to Boss Will Starless Sky setup, which is like 39% more damage, but a bit glassier. But I don't think I'm gonna have to get those items. We'll see. I doubt they're gonna fall, but you have to try that sell idea. Yeah. So for stuff like that, Seeking Fury, like you can find different clever ways to like remap certain buttons. Like so, like something like concealment. I don't know what your mouse is like, but like I have like side buttons on my mouse. So like for instance, for like Dance of Knives, you know, I have right click for it. But to be able to use the whole command, so I can cast Heartseeker when I want, I have it remapped to like a side mouse button, so all of my movements is on my mouse, right, for this build. But like for instance, what you may want to think about doing is that, like, let's say if Rain of Arrows is like right click for you or something, right? Like you can remap concealment to a mouse button, so you're holding down like a side mouse button and also Rain of Arrows at the same time, and then you're casting both at the same time. So you're always casting concealment as you're casting Rain of Arrows, that kind of thing, without having to like, you know, use your left hand to hold down or press a bunch of keys like at the top or whatever for you. That's kind of a way that, you know, you can think about it. What we got? Pelgain. No, in normal cases, I'd be happy about this, but I'm not gonna be doing any. Not with the bugs that are still there. I will not be doing any realistic pushing, but maybe next season. Pelgain's up for pushing. That's why I made the comment about pushing, right? So it's really good for all cold build pushing, for every cold build for pushing, but it's still all the same problems. Were the bugs the same bugs from last season that they said that they fixed, but they did not? Where was that? Oh yeah. Besides shaking high velocity, what else do we need for single target damage? Nope, that's it. Literally, that's it. If you feel like your boss damage is pretty bad still, even like after like those changes or whatever, or that change, then part of it is just probably just need to gear up better, honestly. You know, up your glyphs a little bit. Check the stats, make sure you have like decent stats, make sure that your unique rolls are good in your items, those kind of things. And also make sure that you're actually like casting Heartseeker, you know, in between your spins. So like the actual playing of the spin casting like this here matters. Like if you're just spinning with right click or something, then you're not going to do any much damage at all on single target. How default boosts worse. Damage comes with the current resource of how max you have. Current resource. If you're playing any build with beast with beast fall boost, you don't have to worry about it. You're gonna always get the like a properly built with beast fall boost. You're gonna always get the max damage no matter what. So you don't have to like put much thought into it. So you don't need aftermath? What do you mean? No, you do need aftermath because you have to get the energy back to do it to yeah. Without it, you can't restore your energy, which means you can't recycle. Aftermath is crucial. Why don't I open both chests? Because the Belial portal or the Belial doesn't spawn if you like so the thing about it is that like I want more Belial spawns so I can get more keys. If I open both chests, only the first chest has a possibility to spawn Belial, not the second. So it takes me longer to go through this, but it gives me twice as many chances for Belial to spawn, and that's more important. But I still do the double chest no because it increases the boss level by 1, which means that like a slightly better chance of better items. Slightly. Like very, very tiny. So it's still worth getting it. Is that a bug or a trade-off? Trade-off. It means you can get your items faster, but you lose half of the Belial spawns. So it's up to you. Is that good old Blizzard? Yeah, well. But does spawn both chests. Okay, let me rephrase that. Belial does not have a chance to spawn twice. So like if you open one chest and Belial doesn't spawn, you open this chest, Belial does not have a chance to spawn. Is what I'm trying to say. So you don't get twice the potential spawn of Belial. So I'll put it this way, if you were to do bosses 300 keys and you only open the Lair of Plenty chest, you would never see Belial spawn. Ever. That's all I'm saying. Like he'll spawn if you take both chests, but only one chest activates it. I'm trying to not use I'm trying to make them, I'm trying to get the most out of it, if that makes sense. Just to clarify, we could 5-7 aftermath on helmet. You mean amulet? You can't put aftermath on helmet. Trying to get Edna's Mythic Dagger is the best route is to focus on Lord of Hatred. For Myth, so technically you should be able to like target farm, I guess, is what the dev said. Harbinger of Hatred is the guy who drops the Edna's Dagger in general. So that's the place I would farm for a Mythic Edna's Dagger. You can still get it from anywhere else. But like that's the boss I will farm for the greater layer keys. And then once you run out of those keys, then you farm the new seasonal boss. and then kind of hope for that there. But it's a journey. Love your builds, by the way. Sorry, the season's so bad. Many people have quit. Hope it doesn't hurt your wallet. No, I don't make enough money doing content creation for this to be reliable income. I mainly do it for fun. So this is more of a I get to chill with you guys kind of thing versus you know, oh, look at my analytics. I gotta pay XY bills with this. So appreciate the follow. You sick hat. Thanks, man. Why do you say 300 resource max? 300 max resource if Aftermath on ring gives you only 8 resource per skill and you get 26 or 30 at most. Because when you go for the 300 max resource, the Aftermath is on the amulet, not the ring anymore. That's why. If you notice the 300 max resource on anybody's planner for it's usually for the power, the tower push, and the Aftermath is on the amulet. Because both rings are taken, one with Pelgain and the other is Scoundrel's Kiss. That's why I was saying you don't need to do the 300 resource because it's not really for T12 content, speed farming T12 content. It's for the push setup or the really high pit setup stuff. Because you wouldn't use Azareth or Pelgain for T12 anything. Do I still teach? Yeah, I do. It's the summertime now, so. But percussion camp starts up next week, so you will see. You would definitely see less of me. Starting next week.
Squid Duck, what build are you playing right now?
Or this season. Were you any good at D3? I started on D3. I played D3 since day one of D3, honestly. And I did a lot of GR pushing there. I have a lot of rank 1 world Demon Hunter clears on YouTube, actual YouTube videos showcasing that, the clears or whatnot. So I did a lot of that. That's actually kind of how I got, I won't say discovered per se, Max Roll, but that's how I ended up on Max Roll because of those things that I did. I made my own builds and whatnot, and would do crazy pushes that with half the toughness or whatever. But yeah, that's partially what got me onto Max Roll, to do guys and stuff for D4. I think you knew that, DJ Chrono. You've been around for long enough. Maybe you just want to. I just realized I knew he was around when I was playing D3. I know you were. I said all that, and he knew. You know that. It's maybe. I haven't heard the song in a while. Yeah.
They were nothing. Did you truly think all of this would be that easy?
Boss jail. Thankfully, my setup is mostly complete, so I can boss comfortably on T12 on this, like, quickly. This song took you right back to being on the school field trips. Is great. Oh no. I was I'm trying to think. I was in high school when this song came out. Pretty sure I was in high school. Yeah, I was in high school. Cause I remember walking to school and having this song on my one of my mix CDs or whatever, with my little like COS CD player and headphones. Yeah, I remember.
They were nothing. Did you truly think all of this would be that easy?
Zip at the house so many levels.
You think you've won? This is
Is it better just to hit spam Heartseeker like crazy, or is it enough like 2 or 3 times a second? Twice a second is roughly the it's like a rhythm game. You'll like when you do it enough, you feel when Dance of Knives start spinning, and when you can like cast it again. So it's roughly twice a second. But only when you're fighting bosses. Like when you're speed farming, you can just cast Heartseeker when you see stuff, and then keep going. But on bosses, you definitely need more arrows and more of that damage to take them down. The beat of the song is a good amount. Yeah, actually, yeah. Would I be able to explain to you how to counter Edna's Lost Dagger 2 different types of damage to keep the damage up? Yep. So one of the easiest ways to do it is to take a charm and get one of those chances to deal a different damage. So in this case, this is fire damage, right? So I have a 40% chance to deal fire damage. So as long as I have one of those, like different damage type, anything but physical or holy, because they both don't work for some reason. So you can do fire, poison, shadow, whatever. And it works to proc the second part of your Edna's Dagger. Why don't you open both chests? Because I want more Belial spawns. So if I open this chest, Belial also won't spawn. So Belial only spawns with the right chest, not the left chest. So I'm actually, I know I have the the double chest or whatever, but I took it for the +1 monster power for the boss. So the boss is a little harder, and therefore his quality of loot is a tad better because of it. I actually learned that from someone in chat. Actually, I didn't know about I can only just take one chest, even though I have 2 spawn. So it was actually somebody in chat that, I think it was Bayu. Bayu actually put me onto this. You like this build more than Rain of Arrows? Honestly, yeah, I do. I do have a Rain of Arrows build set, obviously. But, like, so I'm not a fan of Death Trap. Nothing against Death Trap at all. It's an extremely good build. I just don't like Death Trap in general. And Renevilles honestly feels a lot like Death Trap. It's just basically a rectangle Death Trap. I like the old school Renevilles, like the Monsoon variant, where like you're covering the entire screen with the wave or whatever. I played so much Renevilles before the expansion. Like a lot. Like I played almost every season Renevilles Heartseeker ever since the introduction of Heartseeker in season 4. in the introduction of my Rain of Rails build in season 6. I always had it on max roll, build guides, whatever. I don't like this current iteration of Rain of Rails as much as some of the old school ones. I like being able to use it often or whatever without having to cast Barrage in between. Like I like that part of it. I just don't like the crashing wave, and like Monsoon is just way too weak to use right now. Like, and its additional waves taking way forever to cast or whatever. It just makes it really, really useless, honestly. But I would much prefer to play Monsoon, to be honest. So I'm not enjoying it as much as I would have hoped. But that's okay though. Like it's totally okay. Like I'm really happy with Spin the Wind Heartseeker. You got the build up of this build right now? Oh yeah, it's on max roll. It's Heartseeker. But just go to the Spin the Wind variant tab. And it's also a I have a video of this on YouTube too as well. Spin the Wind Heartseeker. But it's not a Dance of Knives build per se. Like it's really not Dance of Knives build. Dance of Knives is like the supporting cast for it. It allows some really cool things to happen. But Dance of Knives is doing no damage on this. There's Bayu. Yeah. You can just rewatch 8 Mile like 2 weeks ago. It gets brought you back to. Looking at your build here, now you get it. All good, all good. Glad I can help. Nothing good still. No, I got Slayers, we're good. Got for seals 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. It's crazy how rare like the 6 seal, like 6 things are. I guess I don't mind it too much per se, because I mean I don't really need it, but it's kind of crazy how rare they actually are when you think about it. You're a Makuna, but how's it doing versus bossing? What, this build right now? You're watching me do it. You're watching me boss. Right? How's it look like to you? Yeah. Everything we've been doing so far the past like 30 minutes has been bossing.
They were nothing. Did you truly think all of this would be that easy? You think you won? This is just the beginning.
Could use a Mythic Steel instead. You don't want to. You lose way too much damage if you do. I mean, you up as well. You can use a Mythic Seal, but you like the seal itself, but you do not want to mix match. You just want to keep the same Narrow's Eye and the charm. If you try to mix and match, you'll lose about 80% damage, but you'll gain 30% DR. And that trade is not worth it. If can actually start with like almost like 0 vengeance stacks at the start of my spin. Yeah, that's actually faster. Okay, yeah. Does it have a compliment when someone compare you with Makuna? Oh, I mean, I'm, yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Makuna. I don't do like the serious pushing like Makuna does. But I get what you're trying to say. Alright, so if I could stack my whatchamacallit or casting anything, I can kill the boss even faster. Yeah. But do I really want to do that? Like I'm shaving off like maybe half a second the time. Is it really worth? Oh, pants. Oh, shroud. Actually, you know, that's actually not a bad shroud. I was hoping that was the boss world so bad. I was really hoping. But about knowledge, okay, I got you. I see what you mean. How many keys do I have left? For regular one, 7. Okay. So I think I might actually make a I think maybe one stream in the future. I'm gonna do a leveling stream, like not like speed leveling, but just like leveling and just a generic leveling, no maggot farming kind of thing. And I think I'm gonna try to see if I can do it like a quote unquote spin to win leveling Heartseeker type ordeal. I think it's totally possible while trying to maintain close to permanent shadow clone as well. I think it'll be actually one of the better leveling builds for Rogue in my opinion. But I want to actually do it. Like I have a theory crafted and everything, but I want to actually do it to make sure it actually like works out the way my theory says it should. So I'll probably end up doing it live stream, and I'll just kind of go over each little like impact point and stuff, and you know, if it works out, it will be in the guide. It'll be the guide, I guess you could say, for Heartseeker leveling. Because then I can just have you go into spin to win into the physical starter version, right? And when you get the Narrow's Eye set, your damage will just increase a lot. You don't have to do anything or play anything different. Can use to boss will for Rain of Arrows, yes, you can. But I probably I wouldn't advise you do so until you get a Mythic Seal and you're able to mix and match Narrow's Eye and Sightless set for the extra damage reduction. And you're the type of guy that only stay with meta builds. It's a little bit boring. That is true. There you go about all. Yep. Maybe the best level of those. Oh yeah, like I said, because then you get the because with Spin the Wind Seeker for leveling, you get the best of both worlds, right? You get dance because then you can put points in the Dance of Knives at that time because it'd be worth actually doing. So you put points in the Dance of Knives and Heart Seeker or whatever, and Dance of Knives would be more beneficial to kind of help you clear a little bit, while Heart Seeker itself will be more single target bursts. And then you just pick one imbuement, probably Shadow Imbuement, and just watch everything explode. Your Dance of Knives will, peg them with Shadow Imbuement, while your Heart Seeker explodes them, explodes the mobs or whatever. So it should be a really comfy build to play, like a really fun setup. And then you don't have to worry about resource because Heart Seeker brings your resource back. So you're not having the early resource struggles of, like, let's say the typical Dance of Knives at the beginning. So it's actually kind of a neat way of going about it. You just have the Mythic Pangorgers, but it fixes not as good as your normal unique Gladiator Triumph. Should you switch? How bad are the affixes? If you don't mind me asking. Like, what are the affixes? Is High Paragon necessary to farm T12? Not really, no. Until you get Paragon T12, you still can farm T12. Sometimes I would say it's more about the build and also understanding how to create your items than it is about the Paragon level. So like somebody who knows how to use the cube really well and can kind of like, craft items from scratch and being really resourceful can easily, I don't say easily, but can make it to T12 at like Paragon 150, 160 or whatever. Because they know how to like craft their items well and stuff like that and get the things they need early. So it's really not about the Paragon more so as it's about making on like how quickly can you get your stuff. What do you think they're gonna do with Mythics since they're investigating why their patch ain't working? I don't know. That's a good question. Which makes me wonder. Maybe I should kind of save my other keys for tomorrow or Friday, just in case they do something drastic and I'm like, oh, cool. So maybe I should do that. I doubt they will. I doubt they'll do anything drastic, but you never know. I lost crit chance and vulnerable damage. Yeah, so I guess what were the rolls? Like, how did it roll? Like, can you tell me what stats it rolled with? Like, I know it rolled with Dex and attack speed. So what were the other two rolls that it rolled with before you changed anything? Yeah, most likely I would say if you lost crit chance and vulnerable damage, most likely it's like a side grade versus an upgrade. Granted, like if you had like a GA, like a GA Pangorgers with like max unique aspect, then chances are that mythic is it gets a side grade, not an upgrade. Which is unfortunate, actually. But you're more a fan about range builds, even though they weren't the best for a lot for the season. That is true. But yeah. So thanks for reminding me of that, Defiant Fate. They might do something tomorrow. We'll see. So let me save my other keys. I did say it was gonna be a short stream this time around. So I'm gonna kind of stick to that.
Back to it then.
So we are actually gonna go ahead and head out, raid out real quick. Let's see who's doing the thing. Who's doing the thing? Oh, Panda's on. Panda's on. Panda's been on for a while, actually. I wonder if he's gonna still keep. If he's still gonna keep playing, or should I go somewhere else? Actually, let's go to Luminosity. Or Chelsea, yeah, let's go somewhere different. Somewhere different. I always see his name on like the side of my thing as like recommended people to watch or whatnot. Yeah, so we'll go here. It's been Elsa has strength because it dropped. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Oh yeah, no, just don't. That's unfortunate, man. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, just wear your original Pain Gorgers that you have. Is Dario's vision any good this season for Rogue? No, I don't think. I honestly don't ever see it coming back in the limelight unless they have to redo that. That mythic, like it's even worse now than it has been for like the past like 6 seasons, and it's been really bad the past 6 seasons, and it's even worse now. So nah. But all right, enjoy Luminosity. I will say that you guys could be watching anybody else, but y'all chose to hang out with me, and I do not take that for granted. And other than that, till next time, guys.